Enders, my capstone research presentation is on early aviation. Introduction. Aviation has had a short yet rapid progression. The first successful flight was conducted in 1903 by the Wright brothers, but the brothers had an interesting professional career that had led them to creating their first heavier-than-air powered aircraft. After their invention, in 1910, the Wright model R and B model were made. In World War I, airplanes were used for the first time in air combat. After World War I, commercial aviation began to bloom, but aviation truly changed when World War II began, all of which will be reviewed in this presentation. The Wright brothers. The Wright brothers were captivated by technology at a young age. They opened their first business, a printing shop, in the mid-1880s. The brothers decided to change gears and opened up a cycling shop where they would build and repair bicycles. Their professional businesses and their interest in growing technology led the brothers to pursuing building their aircraft. The first aircraft. The Wright brothers took several years to build their first aircraft due to several reasons, one being that they had to make and specialize an engine for their aircraft. On December 17, 1903, the Wright brothers had their first successful flight. Orville was at the controls and his brother Wilbur followed behind him, and this is the famous photo that was shot right before the aircraft took off. The Model R, otherwise known as the Roadster, was a biplane produced in 1910 by the Wright brothers. Specifications of this aircraft include a 4-cylinder engine, 26.5-foot wingspan, 2 contra-rotating propellers, and an average speed of 55 miles per hour. The Model B, also produced in 1910, this biplane differed greatly from its predecessor, the R model. Specifications of this aircraft include a 38-foot wingspan, a 4-cylinder engine, 2 counter-rotating propellers, and a cruising speed of 40 miles per hour. So these two aircraft produced in 1910, we're seeing 55 to 40 miles per hour is the maximum speed it could go. Aviation during World War I. World War I broke out July 14, 1914. Over 10 years previously, the first successful flight was conducted, so it's a very short time frame that we're seeing aircraft being used in the way that it is during World War I. Airplanes before the war were not reliable, as they were made of wood, cloth, and wire. At the beginning of the war, military commanders realized the benefit these machines could be for the war effort, and that aircraft could be more than just for photography or observations of enemy positions. Excuse me. Aviation during World War I. Aircraft were a vital part of the war, and the war propelled airplanes to be used in such a way that belligerents inevitably started looking for a way to gain air superiority, or control the airspace around their portions. Machine guns, bombs, and other weapons were attached to the aircraft, and improved instruments, such as a reliable timing system, allowed the pilots to have a lessened workload in air combat. I like this photo because it shows that not only is the pilot piloting and flying this aircraft, but he's also at the controls of the weapon, the machine gun. The advancements of our aircraft artillery led to the enhancements of anti-aircraft artillery. This led to the skies becoming a dangerous combat zone, and many were killed in the air. Aviation after World War I. World War I ended in 1918, and with the end of the war, many people began to operate commercial airlines. These early efforts failed because of the high operating costs. But the government awarded the airlines with contracts to fly mail, which is how many airplanes were able to finally generate revenue. Commercial aviation. Early commercial aviation companies were forming. In fact, William Boeing and Frederick Wetzlar of Pratt & Whitney formed the first and the largest United Aircraft and Transportation Corporation. This was crucial for the trajectory of aviation industry moving forward, as airplanes received continuous improvements and enhancements in their build and their technology. During World War II, aviation and aircraft were seeing a lot of air combat. All-metal monoplanes with retractable landing gear. These are what these type of aircraft were. Aircraft were faster, could travel farther, and compared to their ancestors during World War I, cockpits could hold more crew, and with better analog instruments and weapons with better placement. Based out of the UK, the Spitfire was the most produced aircraft for the country during World War II. Specifications of this aircraft include 1,030 horsepower, 36-foot wingspan, 29 feet and 11 inches long, maximum speed of 360 miles per hour, and a maximum ceiling of 34,000 feet. The Spitfire also saw improvements throughout the war, such as improved machine guns and cannons, as well as upgraded engines. The Hawker Hurricane. Another prominent aircraft during the Second World War. Specifications of this aircraft include a maximum speed of 330 miles per hour and a ceiling of 36,000 feet. These differ greatly from the aircraft that we review from the 1910s. The R and B model produced in 1910 compared to the Hawker Hurricane and the Spitfire, the speed difference is enormous, and it just shows the evolution of the aircraft that were produced in just a short time. The improvements of aircraft from the Wright model's R&B model to the World War II aircraft, such as the Spitfire and the Hawker, are immense, and proved the fast-paced trajectory of aviation in only 4 decades. The atomic bombs. The Boeing B-29 delivered the atomic bombs. The aircraft received technical innovations to ensure that aircraft could withstand the shock waves and be light enough to carry the weight of the bombs. The technical innovations of the B-29 include remote-controlled turrets, computerized targets, pressurized cabins, and new engines. The Silver Plate project was made to ensure that the B-29 bombers would be advanced enough in technology, as well as airframes, that the bombs would be delivered with no issue. This project took place, and after the third phase, the mission was able to take place. In conclusion, the Wright brothers' bicycle and printing businesses propelled them to creating their first aircraft. The Wright brothers' first successful flight was on December 17, 1903. In 1910, the Wright model R and B were produced. Aviation was enhanced during World War I for air combat, utilizing aircraft to fight battles in the sky and significantly advanced aircraft technology and airframes. Commercial aviation grew after the First World War, utilizing the trained pilots and aircraft. The U.S. Postal Service used them to deliver mail. This is where the first airlines grew and were able to finally make a profit. World War II further enhanced aircraft. Aircraft such as the Spitfire and the Hawker Hurricane were significant in many battles for the UK, and proved to be prolific for the ability for aviation to grow significantly in only 4 decades. B-29 delivered the atomic bombs, and through the Silver Plate project, improvements on the airframe and aircraft technology is what allowed the atomic bombs to be delivered with no errors. And then we have our references. I want to say thank you so much for watching this presentation. I hope that this works with no issue.